that I want. Okay, next is, don't place your subject in the center. You see, most people, when they come and see something interesting, oh yeah, nice, 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 pop, they take a picture. The person is right in the center, okay? Now, when we say don't put it in the center, it's because we want the eye of the viewer to work around the image, look around the image. So, there's this traditional rule of thirds that photographers use, just as a guideline. Now, your handphone camera also has that. If you look at your camera, you will see that, like for me, I have the grid line. You can actually switch on the grid line. Those that don't have the grid line, go to your settings and set up your grid lines. This grid line will allow you to make sure that you don't put your subject in the center and push them to the sides. And where do you put them? You will actually put them at the intersection of the crosses here. So I said, tip, switch on your grid lines. Now, if you put the person here, the viewer will actually look around the picture and settle on this subject. You can see the relationship between the subjects here, isn't it? In fact, you can see this sort of V shape here to concentrate. Where are the grid lines? You can see this is how it looks like when you actually put the grid lines. Now look at this. When I saw this person, I didn't put him in the center. I made sure that I have him in the grid lines intersection here, and the boat, which is our secondary focal point, here. You see what I mean?
Yes. But this is automatic arrangement when you have the grid, whatever line from the grid. No, you have to place.
You have to switch on your grid lines, and obviously you have to compose your picture. These things don't appear in your frame. So if this appeared to me, I could have just taken a picture of here, isn't it? I could just approach them and take a picture. But I wanted to create that feeling of presence in where they are. What is he taking drawing about? His surroundings. So I put him at where the intersections are. But when I say at the intersections of rule of thirds, doesn't mean you have to be exactly, you see. It's roughly, so that your principle is that you don't want it to be in the center. So some people, to make it very simple, makes it quadrants. Just think your subject away from the center. For example, we have this man standing here. Yeah? You are more like Harith than you think, so I put him against Harith. So he's standing at the side, so the other quadrant is where Harith is. Okay? This lady is here, the other subject is the fish. So you imagine her looking at the fish, but the fish is actually in the next quadrant. So I could have just taken a picture of the mountain, but I want to include another subject that sees, okay, this guy is actually looking at the mountains. So you have some interesting story, yeah, exactly, for your eye to look around the picture, not just bang in the center, mountain, finish. Okay? This boy is there. You want to know that he's in a temple. You have other elements that actually provide a sense of where he is. Okay? This man is here. I could have taken this picture of him with this picture, but what does he produce? He produced calligraphy in a big scale also. So you put him, tell the bigger story of the environment. The man is rowing. So you put him here. He has got a life raft here. So you create a sort of pattern, but he is not in the center. It makes the eye go around the picture, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Here, similar. It could have just been this shrine, but you have people here that make it interesting because they're in different quadrants. Right? This man here, they're not together, but you sort of create a relationship between the two. Okay, we'll go very quickly. Looking for patterns. Patterns are here. Patterns, I think I've got to go very quickly. So these things actually attract attention because of the similarity. And you get patterns behind your pictures. And now to create a sense of depth, to draw your eye, you create frames. So that is a frame as well. This is a frame to draw your eye into the picture. This is a virtual frame. But no. So frames may not be actual frames, but just virtual frames. So frames must be able to tell a better story by being related to what you have in a subject. So it works in a frames. So you know what he's selling, isn't it? You're framing him. Leading lines. very easy to lead your picture or lead your eye into the picture. So you have leading lines like this. This one here looks up into the sky. You have leading lines. And even virtual leading lines. Not really a line, but where your eye actually moves into the picture. Lastly, look for simplicity. Basically, you're trying to make it as simple as possible. Remove all the distracting background. So you have pictures like this, and someone actually walking in a wide, passageway. If you look closely in my picture, you can see the details. Something very clean in the background. Yep. Things like this. And something without, in a train station full of people, but look for a time when there's no distractions. This one tells a bigger story in terms of relationship of people. So in summary, you have this 7. Take out your phones, you can take a picture. So since time is up, actually I have a lot of pictures for a quiz, but if you have no time for a quiz, I'm open for Q&A.